Welcome back to one more important class. Yes, today we are going to discuss ethics and moral study. We can expect roughly two questions from this section, but it will be manageable and easily answerable. So, today we are going to discuss some of the important concepts regarding ethics. Then we're going to solve 100 top 100 important MCQs in the ethics and moral study syllabus. So, let's begin today's class. Ethics came from the word ethos. Ethics derived from the word ethos, which means character. Then ethos is a Greek word. Ethos is a Greek word. What is meant by ethics? Ethics is a set of moral principles or rules. Ethics is a set of moral principles or rules. Study of what is right, wrong in human behavior. What is right and what is wrong in human behavior is known as ethics. Ethics is the external codes of conduct and principles established by groups or societies to guide human behavior in specific context. So ethics is the guided or moral principles which are given to us by an external group or society. This is the major difference between ethics and morals. So, ethics are principles established by groups or society. Groups or society. So, ethics is yes, external, that is external societal rules. Ethics is external. Then, in the same context, what is morals? Morals is personal beliefs about right and wrong, rooted in individual experiences and values. Depend upon our individual experiences, we came to the conclusion about morals. So, morals are internal personal belief. So, this is the major difference between ethics and morals. Ethics is external. So, they are the principles given by a society, but morals are internal. These are the personal belief of us. So try to remember the basic difference between ethics and morals. Then values. What is mean by values in ethics? Values, they are the internal personal belief that an individual or organization holds as important. That value is important. So values are own judgment. Own judgment. For example, honesty, integrity, respect, compassion, empathy. These are the values of the personal, okay, individual perspective. Values are individual perspective. Then what is meant by virtues? Virtues are universally accepted qualities. Universally accepted qualities that are considered to be good or desirable in a person. So values are own. Our own judgment. Values are our own judgment. But virtues are universally accepted quality. Virtues are universally accepted qualities, which is good for all. Okay. These are the basic difference between values and virtues. Then what is meant by honesty? Honesty and integrity. What are the difference between honesty and integrity? First, what is honesty? Honesty means truthfulness or absence of fraud. Truthfulness or absence of fraud or fair and straightforward behavior. Fair and straightforward behavior. This is known as honesty. At the same time, what is meant by integrity? Integrity came from the word integritas, which means completeness. Completeness. So, integrity means adhering to strong moral principles and values consistently. This is the key word between honesty and integrity. So, the major difference between honesty and integrity is honesty is a one time measure. Okay. During an incident, he is honest. But integrity is not a one time measure. Integrity is a long term measure. Integrity needs consistency. That is, you are consistently honest. Integrity means you are consistently honest at whatever the situation is. Okay, that is integrity. For example, Doing right thing or doing the moral thing, doing ethical thing when no one is watching us. That is integrity. Being good when no one is watching us. That is integrity. So try to remember the difference between honesty and integrity. Then aptitude. What is mean by aptitude? Aptitude means person's natural ability to learn something. To learn something. So aptitude means related to talent. Related to talent. Then what is mean by attitude? Attitude means person's feeling or opinion about something. Opinion about something. Aptitude is related with talent. Attitude is related with character or personality. Character or personality. Try to remember the basic difference between attitude and aptitude. So these are some important terms or concepts in the ethics. So one more general information. For complete GK PDF notes, message me the Telegram ID at GDS Study Center. Okay, now let's solve top 100 MCQs related with ethics and moral study. Okay, now let's discuss top 100 most important MCQs in ethics and moral studies. First, we begin with easy questions in the later stages, which means the questions above 60 and 80, the questions will be slightly tougher. So let's discuss one by one. First question, ethics. Ethics deals with wealth, right and wrong behavior, physical strength, or technology. The answer is right and wrong behavior. Ethics deals with right and wrong behavior. The word ethics is derived from the Greek word. The word ethics derived from the Greek word ethos. Ethos, which means character. Which means character. Moral values are natural laws, principles of right conduct, rules of politics, religious customs only. So the moral values are principles of right conduct. Principles of right conduct. Which of the following is a moral value? Which of the following is a moral value? Moral value means principles of right conduct. So, which of the following is the principles of right conduct? Honesty, laziness, cheating, selfishness. So, the answer is honesty. Honesty is the moral value, which is the principle of right conduct. So, connect the questions with other. So, link the questions with each other. Then ethics is sometimes called the study of money, study of duty, study of language, the study of war. So the answer is ethics is study of duty. Then question number 6, morality refers to scientific inventions, social customs, human behavior based on values, law of physics. So morality refers to human behavior based on values. We already discussed about what is values. Which one is not a moral value? Which one is not a moral value? Respect, kindness, hatred, justice. Hatred is not a moral value. Hatred means showing hate against others. Which philosopher is known as father of ethics? Who is known as father of ethics? Socrates, Newton, Shakespeare, Einstein. We all know the answer. Socrates is known as father of ethics. A moral dilemma occurs when? A moral dilemma occurs when we know everything, we face two conflicting duties. There is no choice. There is only one option. So when we face a dilemma, we face the dilemma when we have to choose between two things. So the answer is we face two conflicting duties. When we face two conflicting duties, we will face a moral dilemma. Ethics provides guidance for sports rules, right living, only science, physical fitness. Ethics provides guidance for right living. Right living. The opposite of morality is immorality. Opposite of morality is immorality. Ethics teaches us to be selfish, respect others, ignore rules, think only of wealth. The answer is ethics teaches us to respect others. We always should respect the people. Then values are passed down through computer machines, none, family and society. Values are passed on through family and society. The moral principle of treating others as you want to be treated is called golden rule. There is a concept of golden rule in ethics, which is known as treating others as you want to be treated. Treating others as you want to be treated. There is a quote related to our Gandhiji: be the change you want to see in others. Be the change you want to see in others. So they both are a little bit interrelated in my point of view. What is your opinion? Then conscience means question number 15. Conscience means inner sense of right and wrong, outer beauty, physical health, government order. Conscience means inner sense of right and wrong. Inner sense of right and wrong. An ethical person always help others. Help others. He won't disrespect elders. He won't lie. He won't cheat in exam. An ethical person always help others. Which value helps to maintain peace in society? Maintain peace and harmony in society. Tolerance. Tolerance. We should accept the people's fault or their wrong for some time. This is known as tolerance. So, if there is more tolerance in society, there will be more peace. Yeah, society. Which of the following is an ethical duty? Ethical duty: respecting parents, ignoring teachers, disrespecting elders, spreading lies. Ethical duty will be respecting parents. The study of duties and obligations. The study of duties and obligations is called deontology. Deontology, the branch of ethics. Deontology, which means the study of duties and obligations. Psychology is the study of mind and brain related activities. Biology, we all know. Sociology is the study of society. So, the study of duty and obligation is deontology. Ethics is mainly concerned with laws of the state, rules of cricket, scientific formulas, moral values, and principles. Ethics is mainly concerned with moral values and principles. Which of these is universal human value? Universal human value, that is virtue. Values which are universally accepted is known as virtue. So, violence, truthfulness, corruption, hatred. The universal human value will be truthfulness. Truthfulness. The moral value that helps in building trust. Building trust is honesty. Honesty. Which of the following is an unethical behavior? Unethical behavior. Helping friends, respecting elders, donating to the poor. These are ethical behavior. Cheating in exam. Cheating in exam is unethical behavior. So then which quality shows integrity? We already discussed about integrity. Integrity means being honest consistently. So see the answer: saying truth always. Saying truth always. So integrity means being honest consistently. That is, when no one is watching, we should be honest. That is integrity. Then do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Represent golden rule. This is also a golden rule in ethics. Then forgiveness is a value that promotes peace. Forgiveness is a value that promotes peace. Respect for diversity means ignoring other cultures, accepting and valuing differences, forcing everyone to be same, criticizing others. Respect for diversity means accepting and value the differences. So, what are the differences? The cultural differences, the language differences. We should respect the differences. We should admire and we should feel proud for our country's diversity. So, respect the diversity means accepting and valuing differences. Which help, which value helps to control anger? So, how to control anger? Patience. Patience is the value which helps to control anger. Which of these is a professional ethic? Which of these is a professional ethic? Lying in reports, stealing office property, cheating clients, honesty at workplace. Honesty at workplace is a professional ethic. Responsibility means fulfilling duties sincerely. Fulfilling duties sincerely. The value that prevents corruption. The value that prevents corruption is honesty. Honesty will prevent corruption. Moral education in school mainly aims to teach science, develop values, teach sports, teach only maths. Moral education in school mainly aims to develop values. Value education class is also known as moral education class. Then a society without ethics would face. A society without ethics would face chaos. Chaos means disturbance or some sort of sadness in the society. So a society must need ethics. Then only that society will be developed and happiness will proceed in that society. Then, which is not an ethical principle? Which is not an ethical principle? Justice, truth, exploitation, respect. The answer is exploitation. Exploitation is not an ethical principle. Exploitation means abusing someone in an unfairly means of way. Abusing someone. Okay, exploitation means treating someone unfair. Then telling lies to escape punishment. Telling lies to escape punishment is unethical. Unethical. A person who stands by truth even in difficulty shows courage. Shows courage. Bravery, courage or bravery. The main purpose of ethics is to guide behavior. Guide behavior. It is not to teach maths or not to promote war or not to increase the wealth. The main purpose of ethics is to guide our behavior. What is right and what is wrong. Then justice means being fair and equal. Being fair and equal. Which of these is a moral responsibility of student? Moral responsibility of students. Studying sincerely, cheating in exam, disrespecting teachers, fighting with classmates. Studying sincerely is the moral responsibility of students. Don't expect these kind of easy question in exam. Which moral value promotes harmony in family? Which moral value promotes harmony in family? Respect for elders. Respect for elders. A person who cares for the environment shows responsibility. Responsibility. Speaking truth even when it is hard is an example of honesty or integrity. Honesty or integrity. A good citizen must respect laws. Respect laws. He should not break rules. He should not spread corruption. He should not avoid duties. A good citizen must respect laws. Okay. The value which promotes cooperation. The value which promotes cooperation is teamwork. Teamwork promotes. Teamwork requires cooperation. Okay. Without cooperation, there will be no teamwork. Helping the poor is a sign of. Helping the poor is a sign of kindness. Ethical leadership is based on. Ethical leadership is based on truth and justice. Ethical leadership is based on truth and justice. Which of these is a civic duty? Which of these is a civic duty? Paying taxes. Paying taxes. Which value is important for friendship? Which value is important for friendship? Loyalty is very much important in friendship. An ethical student never cheat in exam. An ethical student never cheat in exam. Moral values help to build good character. Moral values help to build good character. A selfish person mostly thinks about only himself. A selfish person mostly thinks about only himself. He won't think about the society. Which of the following is not a social value? Which of the following is not a social value? Greed. Greed is bad for our society. The principle of equality means treating all fairly. Treating all fairly. Then one who avoids corruption is said to be honest person. One who avoids corruption is said to be honest. Environmental ethics teaches us to protect environment. Protect environment. Which of the following is unethical in sports? Unethical in sports. Cheating. Cheating. A person who controls his anger shows self-control. Who control his anger is known as self-control. The value of gratitude means thankfulness. Thankful. We show gratitude to our parents, to our teachers. So the value of So the gratitude means thanking others, thankfulness. Which of these is professional responsibility of doctors? Saving lives, saving lives. Don't expect these kind of questions. Very easy questions in our exam. Obeying traffic rules is an example of discipline. Discipline. Obeying traffic rules is an example of discipline. Which of the following best defines ethical relativism? So now we are entering into some little bit of toughness in the questions. Which of the following best defines ethical relativism? Ethics is the same for all culture. Ethics changes with cultural belief. Ethics is only based on religion. Ethics has no role in society. So the answer is ethics changes with cultural belief. So ethical relativism means ethics changes with cultural beliefs. For example, in one culture, eating some kind of food is a good ethical behavior. But in the another culture, eating the same food is a bad ethical behavior. So the food is same, but the ethical values changes with the cultural belief. This is known as ethical relativism. Then, according to Aristotle, the highest good in ethics is happiness. Happiness. The highest good in ethics is happiness. Then ends justify the means. Ends justify the means is the principle of. The answer is utilitarianism. Utilitarianism. But the ends justify the means is the principle mainly depends upon mechanism or consequentialism. Okay. Utilitarianism is other sort, which is rarely related with ends justify the means. So ends justify the means they mainly focus on the outcome. They mainly focus on the ends. Then Kant's moral philosophy is mainly based on Kant's moral philosophy is mainly based on duty and intention. Duty and intention. Which of the following is an example of moral dilemma? Moral dilemma. Choosing between tea or coffee, bus to take, dress color. No. These are all dilemmas. But what is moral? Moral dilemma means choosing between truth and friendship. Truth and friendship. Which ethical principle is followed when doctors maintain confidentiality of patients? Autonomy. Autonomy is a moral principle. Autonomy is a moral or ethical principle followed by doctors. Then, which ethical theory emphasizes the greatest good for the greatest number? The greatest good for the greatest number. Utilitarianism. Utilitarianism. Which value is most important for maintaining democracy? Maintaining democracy, respect for authority only, equality and justice, blind obedience, fear of punishment. Fear of punishment. So, maintaining democracy, equality, and justice is very important to maintain democracy in a society. Which of the following is an example of ethical egoism? Ethical egoism, donating to charity for self satisfaction. Self satisfaction, ethical egoism. In professional ethics, conflict of interest occurs. Conflict of interest occurs when personal interest clashes with duty. Personal interest clashes with duty, which means your duty is to appoint a person with merit, but your personal interest says that appoint your relative. So this is the conflict of interest. Means personal interest clashes with our duty. Which of the following best explains integrity? Best explain integrity. Integrity, which I have explained already, consistency between values and actions. Doing the right thing when no one is seeing us. That is integrity. Then according to Gandhian ethics, which principle is central? Central. Non-violence or ahimsa is the main central theme of Gandhian ethics. Then, which is an example of ethical decision making in business? Ethical decision making in business, maintaining transparency in pricing, maintaining transparency in pricing, transparency. Then, a person finds a lost wallet with money and returns it without taking anything. This action shows honesty and integrity. Which philosopher said, man is the measure of all things? Man is the measure of all things. Protagoras is the philosopher who said, man is the measure of all things. Try to remember, guys. This question may be important. Then the principle do no harm in medical ethics is called non-malfeasance. Non-malfeasance. In ethics, means and ends debate is related to deontology versus utilitarianism. Which of the following action best represents altruism? Altruism, risking one's life to save a stranger. Risking one's life to save a stranger. Altruism means without our self-interest or without thinking of own interest, someone is being ready to help others. Is known as altruistic person. That is known as altruism. So seeing an altruistic person is very rare nowadays. Which moral theory is criticized for ignoring individual rights? Which moral theory is criticized for ignoring individual rights? Virtue ethics, utilitarianism, deontology, existentialism. Okay, the answer is utilitarianism is criticized for ignoring individual rights because utilitarianism is mainly focused on the greatest good for greatest numbers. So they do not focus on the individual perspective. So they are criticized for ignoring individual rights. According to Plato, justice in society means everyone doing their appropriate role. According to Plato, justice in society means everyone doing their appropriate role. Who is regarded as the father of Western philosophy? Socrates. Socrates, father of Western philosophy. Who introduced the concept of categorical imperative in ethics? Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant introduced the concept of categorical imperative. The founder of utilitarianism, the greatest good for the greatest number. The greatest good for the greatest number. The founder of utilitarianism, Grimmy Bentham. Grimmy Bentham. Greatest happiness principle is associated with Mill, J.S. Mill, the greatest happiness principle. Who wrote Nicomachean Ethics? Aristotle. Aristotle. Which philosopher is known for the idea of allegory of the cave? Allegory of the cave. The answer is Plato. Plato. The concept of golden mean was given by Aristotle. Aristotle. Father of deontological ethics. Father of deontological ethics. Immanuel Kant. Hedonism as an ethical principle emphasizes pleasure as the highest good. Pleasure as the highest good. Hedonism principle don't worry about duty, justice, equality, and all. Their main focus is pleasure. Hedonism mainly focused on pleasure. Which Indian text mainly deals with ethical duties? Dharma. Ethical duties? Dharma. Arthasastra, Ramayana, Manusmriti, Mahabharat, Bhagavad Gita. So Mahabharat, Bhagavad Gita mainly deals with ethical duties. Dharma. Who emphasized self-realization as the highest moral goal? Self-realization. Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda. Ethics is not about rules, but about developing good character. Developing good character. This view belongs to virtue ethics because character comes under virtues. So it is virtue ethics. Confucian ethics mainly emphasize harmony and respect in relationship. Harmony and respect in relationship. Who said man is a political animal? Man is a political animal. Aristotle. Which school of philosophy promotes indifference to pleasure and pain? Pleasure and pain. Stoicism. Stoicism. Who is often considered as father of modern utilitarianism? Who is the father of utilitarianism? Grimmy Bentham. Who is considered as father of modern utilitarianism? J.S. Mill. J.S. Mill. The concept of ahimsa, non-violence, as a moral principle is central to Gandhian philosophy or Gandhi's philosophy. Which philosopher is associated with ethics of care? Ethics of care. Carol Gilligan. Carol Gilligan. Ethics of care. Which philosopher emphasized know the self as the moral foundation? Know the self. Socrates. Socrates. Who among the following is known for social contract theory in ethics and politics? Social contract theory. Social contract theory. Rousseau. Social contract theory. Rousseau.